everyone, it's Timona from SheLovesThee podcast. I'm here with a public service announcement. It is official. SheLovesThee podcast will be sponsored by iWeed Care for the upcoming 2023 football season. That's right. I will be promoting and representing the #1 source for all your premium quality hair extensions. I'm super excited to be a part of this company that not only has women looking beautiful, but invest in HBCUs. Stay tuned for upcoming deets. And of course, I had to end with iWeed.
Do you have a small business, have a restaurant or services that you provide? Do you have a party that you would like to promote? SheLovesThee podcast will be selling ad space during my lives. Whether I need to do a voiceover or you send me your personal commercial, contact me at ad@SheLovesThee.com for more information. Let's work together by supporting my channel and your business. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. This is SheLovesThee, and of course, today we have the Gorden Classic. And we've got a lot to talk about today because, last week against Texas State, we're kind of shaky with our defense. So we're just going to talk a little bit about matchups, and I'm pretty sure there's some special information that's going to be dropping soon. I'm just waiting on the go-ahead to drop some special news, and then we can talk about it. Let me know how you guys feel about it. I'm just waiting for basically the go-ahead to drop that information. So we have some breaking news on the show, and then I will be doing a live chat at around 6:41 this afternoon. I want to start off by, if this is your first time or you've been here already, you already know I'm going to ask you to like the stream and subscribe because we have a lot of great content coming out. I wanted to show you guys the new jersey because I just saw it, and let me know what you guys think about this new jersey that they are debuting today. I think it looks really good. I know the other jerseys that were released earlier in the year, people didn't like the gray. They didn't like how it was put together. But this right here, this red with the blue helmet with the red block, I think that those are beautifully done. And then they're going to be wearing the red and white cleats with it. Hey, Mr. Campbell and Christopher Dukes. I know a lot of folks are actually right about now. They should have just did the Tiger Walk So there's going to be at least, I'm going to guesstimate 45,000 in the stadium today. Not sure if Bethune Cookman is going to be coming out, but I think that we should still be able to put up 40 to 45,000 strong. Obviously, it's going to be the highest attendance in the FCS today. There's a lot of SWAC football going on today with a lot of implications. You have FAMU versus Alabama State. They're playing in Bragg today. You have Grambling, and they are playing against Texas Southern. And Valley is playing against North Carolina Central. So there's some games going on. Right now, Texas Southern is tied up with Grambling State 7-7 in the second quarter with 2 minutes and 30 before the half. I do know that Andrew Body has not been playing. I guess there's a strong possibility that he's actually going to be out for the season. So that's really unfortunate that he won't be, playing for the rest of the season. So I don't know if they have a decent quarterback. I know they also were discussing that one of the quarterbacks on Texas Southern's roster actually entered in the transfer portal earlier in the week. So we are going to see this game, of course, Bethune Cookman versus Jackson State. Bethune and Jackson State are in the East. So it's an important game today. Very important game. I wanted to quickly go over why it is named, or who, of course. We're going to go over Coach W.C. Gorden and his history and his significance, of course, to Jackson State University. And this is who the Classic is named after. So Coach W.C. Gorden, he is actually, his hometown is Nashville, Tennessee. And his college career took place at Tennessee State University from 1949 to 1952. He played baseball and he played wide receiver for football, and he also served in the Army. So he passed away in 2020, and I want to say that was like the big kickoff for the W.C. Gorden Classic. He was able to attend one, and then he passed away shortly after that. He coached from 1971 to 1972, and then 1976 to 1994. He also was the head baseball coach. He has a SWAC baseball title, interim head coach in 76, and then a head football coach from 77 to 91. He claimed all or part of 8 SWAC football titles from 1980 to 1982, 1985 to 1988, and 1990. He then served as the athletic director from 1991 to 1994. And he was inducted into the 1994 SWAC Hall of Fame. So he had one of the winningest coaching history at Jackson State. And that's why when folks talk about like coaching or winning and stuff like that, listen, Jackson State is not new to winning and being very competitive in football. Coach W.C. Gorden's record was 119 wins, 48 losses, and 5 ties at Jackson State. The winningest coach, of course, in Jackson State history. They said that the whole Sonic Boom is coming today, 300 strong. Good Lord. They about to be blowing. I would have to I couldn't sit next to them, or I would have to have those little plugs. Ed says Gramblin's the most overhyped team. I thought y'all said they had the best offense in the SWAC. Who said that? Who said that? I didn't say that. I think I said that they should do well, but I never said that their offense was the best in the SWAC. You didn't hear that from me. So I'm waiting. I have some news to break. I'm just waiting for the okay to actually break it. So we're going to continue with the show. Oh, okay, the experts. Yeah, the experts said that. So I want to go ahead and go over, type in the chat a player that you think will have a great impact today in today's game. One player that I'm really, really, really excited to see play again and hoping that he gets some good touches today. I'm going to pull his stats up because I think that he did a phenomenal job against Texas State. And so I want to see a continuation of that. One thing that's good about having the home team is, of course, players that weren't able to necessarily travel during that time period, they're able to get active and get some play in. And for me, I think that's definitely important that they get to get some touches. This is who I'm excited to see. He was making some key plays in Texas State, at Texas State. Ahmad Miller. Miller boys, Duke and Ahmad. See, great minds think alike. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was definitely thinking the same thing. Ahmad showed, I think, I'm going to pull up the stats for that Texas State game. But I want to say he had a roughly 5 yards per carry, maybe. Maybe more than that. He was exceptional. I know that last week we did see Texas State put up 77 against Jackson State. So I think, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about all the good stuff first. I'm going to talk about the good stuff, and then we'll talk a little bit about what needs to change immediately, like yesterday on the defensive side. I think everybody's pretty much on the same page with the defensive schemes that they need to change. I know some folks say it takes longer to install a defense. I don't think so. I think when it's not working, if it's broken, then you're going to have to switch it up. And so that's one of the biggest things that I would like to see is just basically a change in the defense. So let's focus on the good things that we got going. Anybody who's tuned in to any other games, drop some information in the chat. I know some people are watching FBS football today as well. So Isaac Pepper's looking for the linebackers to bounce back. Yeah. I'm pretty sure some of their grades for this past week were not good at all. Just because the defense was horrible, the special teams was horrible. We did see Tim Stewart have a really good game considering he had some really big plays. So it looks like Ahmad Miller, did he have 98 yards? Let's see. Individual. So Ahmad Miller had basically 98 net yards rushing, and his longest was 32. He had 13 attempts, and he averaged 7.5 yards per carry. That's pretty good. Irv Mulligan, when they see 5, they're already expecting him, and so they're going to make sure to cover him more. So he had a net of 44 yards, but he also had 2 touchdowns and averaged 12 was his longest carry. I think that Ahmad and Desmond Moultrie as well, they're kind of like the players that you weren't expecting to make big plays, and they came up big. 21-0 Oregon over Colorado. Well, we'll see that narrative stage. I'm going to just mind my real HBCU business. So Isaac Peppers, that's somebody that somebody in the chat named that they feel is going to have a big game. I definitely agree that the linebackers are definitely going to have to step it up, closing the gaps and making sure not to leave those open. Very, very important. I would venture to say that at this point, throw the 3-3-5 and the 3-2-6 in the trash. I don't want to see this at all. I just don't want to see it because I haven't seen it actually work. And this is game 5, and I have not seen them successfully be able to convert a defense. I feel like they need to stuff the box. It says North Carolina Central's 21-3 over Valley, halftime, no Richards at quarterback. So Davius Richards was injured at that UCLA game. Do people still feel like we should do money games? There was a lot of big injuries over the past couple of weeks. In the Miami game, I want to say Bethune Cookman lost 2 of their quarterbacks. UCLA, they lost their starting quarterback. I want to say Andrew Body was injured either in the Toledo. I want to say the Toledo game. I think they played Toledo and they got injured. Basically, from these last couple of games where we're playing FBS level talent, the injuries are piling up and they have an implication on the rest of the season. Moving over. Lord. It looks like Oregon is a money game for Colorado. I don't mind a money game against a bottom FBS team, but Power 5 team is a no-go. I totally agree. Like that was terrible. It says they over there getting Shador slaughtered. Look like he's behind the 2021 line. I agree, Mr. Taylor. No to money games because now you have implications for the rest of the season. Your quarterback or your offensive lineman or defensive tackle totally possibly being out. And it's for a game that has absolutely no implications for your conference play, but you've literally messed up your whole entire season based off of that. And, I wouldn't mind if they scored 77 points. I don't know about y'all, but that'll make me feel a lot better. Everybody can just run the score up. No. But seriously, I want for our coach to kind of get away from the 3-2 and the 3-3 defense. I don't like it. It's not boding us well at all. It does look like we have a couple of injuries. But being that we're able to have the completion of our team, I'm sure that that added depth will be, you know, better. I think Coinus, I'm not sure if he's active today, but last I heard there was a possibility that he could be injured. Let me go back over here to the website so that we can look at these jerseys. They was talking mess about Jackson State's jersey. It became a big thing, like, oh, look at their jersey, look at it. Boy, these jerseys right here, boy, they tough. I like this color. A lot of people um feel like the red is too much. But Coach WC Gorden, he's always had like an accent of red. And so it's kind of like an acknowledgement of Coach WC Gordon's coaching and his past. Um, of course, they're going to switch it up and put their own little twist on it. But I'm loving the blue lettering with the white outline. Emmett Jones, when I say money game, what I mean is that Colorado is getting killed by them and they're getting beat up so bad like it was a money game. That's what I mean by that. So I think they look good. The details are good. Look at that helmet, the red block on the helmet. I love it. Definitely need to blitz and put more pressure on the quarterback to make the right read and throw. I feel like when we watch some of these games that the defensive coordinator tries to call blitzes like late in the fourth quarter, and it's like, dude, where are these blitzes in the first quarter? And who is making the play calling? Is it defensive coordinator Bradley? Is it? That's what I want to know. Are you really putting out this 3-3-5 and 3-2-6 type of defense on most SWAC teams that do not have quarterbacks with good passing efficiency? We also need to talk about the secondary because I was bragging something terrible about this no-fly zone. I was bragging about it. I was speaking on it like these kids right here, they're going to be turning wide receiver. They're going to become wide receivers. We're going to get some pick six. I need to see some defensive touchdowns this particular game. I need to see it. Isaias Guthrie is going to have to show me something. I'd like to blitz more on third down, but you don't want to blitz heavy like the last few years. I don't understand why we don't. Why do we not want Mr. Campbell? We so clean, we dirty. In the words of Old Prime, we're so clean, we're dirty. If you look good, you feel good, you play good, they pay good. So I feel like they should be blitzing on first and third. So blitz on the first, unless you have two running backs or some tight ends in there. I would be blitzing first and third. If I remember correctly, it seemed like we was blitzing every single down for real, for real. There wasn't any letting up off of them. At this point in time, our linebackers who are supposed to kind of like close in those gaps, it seemed like the Red Sea's been part and the other team is just running straight through. Running straight through. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. So listen, I need to see our corners. I need to see them convert. And you know what? Some of that could possibly be some of these kids play better man coverage. I don't feel like a defensive coordinator should continue to try to stick to an install that's not working. So it's week 5. It's week 5. We literally have the personnel on the field. The personnel is there. K5 played last year and he played for the majority of the year. And he wasn't getting cooked like he is now. And the reason for that is when you're doing man coverage, you're basically covering your man. When he accelerates, you accelerate. If you're doing zone coverage, you don't start taking off until you see them taking off. You're not taking off at the same time, and they shoot right past you. If you do not want to get fired, defensive coordinator, defensive back, the whole defensive team, you guys need to switch it up and switch to blitzing heavy out the gate. You want to already get the quarterback rattled. You don't want to start blitzing in the fourth quarter. That doesn't even make logical sense. And you need to switch it up from zone to man. Because you're making Isaias Guthrie's look terrible. You're making K5 look terrible. You're making Jalen look terrible. And these are kids that played during the prime era. And when they were playing man coverage, they were looking good. I'm not talking about Isaias Guthrie's, but clearly the type of scheme you're running, stop trying to install a defense with personnel that it's not fitting. So basically, you have corners and safeties that do better with man coverage, man to man versus zone, and you're trying to install zone. That doesn't even make logical sense. I hope they score 77, Miss Sabrina. I hope they score 77 on Oregon by 70. I hope they keep scoring. Make them feel it. And that's no diss to Shedeur, but it's not even Shedeur's fault that he can't score because the O-line's not giving them enough time. But at the end of the day, I'm sick of these damn DDRs in my chat, underneath my comments, talking SH you know what. I'm tired of it. So make them hush. Ooh, you gonna learn today. Anyway, back to our scheduled regular programming. Yes, I'm gonna be petty, as I should, because they are always talking mess. Let's see if those DDRs and primettes are underneath all of them inner palm folks' comments when they going in. I guarantee you, they still gonna come find a way to Jackson State. I don't know why, but they just do. They're gonna still find their way to the I love. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about this no fly zone they've been flying through the zone. You got to knock that receiver off his route when he come through your zone. Football already trending towards soft, and I see too many receivers that don't get rerouted. I was bragging so hard on our corners and safeties. You would have thought that I came from Tallahassee. That's how much I was bragging. And they have disappointed me. But the reason why they have disappointed me is because the type of coverages that we're doing. We need some man coverage in our life. Like, stop trying to install this zone. It's not working, and it's week 5. I swear to God, if they if the defense does the safeties and the DBs do zone coverage today, I probably will scream. I do have a live today. It's going to start at 6:45 Eastern time. I do have a live chat today. I was really contemplating about possibly just watching this game off the live by myself because I feel like, I might want to scream at the screen a little bit, but I'm going to maintain my composure and have a live today. But that's what I need to see. I need to see the dominance. It has to be there. Let's talk about our defensive line. And it says the defensive scheme don't really fit the players, but at the same time, coaches and players have to make adjustments. So I agree that coaches and players have to make the adjustments, but we are in week 5. At this point, at week 5, there's no reason for you to still try to install whatever defense you're doing. You need to just take it, crumble it up, and throw it in the trash. I'm sorry. Take it, crumble it up, and throw it in the trash. Because Jackson State has to win the rest of its games this season. You cannot continue to try to install this defense when we know what normally has worked in the past and you still have the personnel for it. So basically, last year we did a lot of blitz heavy schemes and they worked for Jackson State. There's a reason why Jackson State was number 1 defense in the SWAC and number 1 in FCS. There's no reason for you to try and introduce and implement a totally different defense when something worked for 2 straight years. And then you want to come in and say, I want to do the opposite of everything that the previous defensive coordinator was doing. I want to do the opposite because I'm a new coach and that's what I want to do. No. And you try to be supportive of their vision, but at some point you have to say, look, when JSU is 9-2, y'all still gonna win the country. So I'm not asking for a coaching change. I'm asking for the coaches to make the changes themselves. We're still good. We're 2-2. But if I see where they're not making the changes, like I think our offense, I don't know about y'all, but Texas State, the offense had me sold. They were clicking on all cylinders and they scored more points than Baylor against Texas State. So for me, I feel like the offense is it's wrapped us up. The reason why Jackson State was able to be so dominant though is because not only did we have our offense, but we also had our defense. The offense, there were times when the offense was lackluster in Shador's first year because of offensive line issues. The defense was still able to hold the opposing team to a certain number of points until they were wore out. And then because of the strength and conditioning, we were able to put up more points. The defense has to switch up. We have to see more blitz. We have to see the edge rushers coming off the edge. I know for a fact them offensive lines are not that good. Why are y'all not sacking the Sonic rings out of these quarterbacks? And Ed, at that point, they should have done blitzing anyway because we was getting carved up anyway. Any which way, on top of having to fight the refs, we was getting our behinds whooped. So, like I said, there's a lot going on today. A lot going on. But I want to see that happening. Oh Lord. I was waiting to drop some special news, but I ain't heard nothing buzzing yet. I haven't heard anything. I was waiting on the big reveal. So I'm going to wait about 10 more minutes to see if this news drops. And yeah. If not, then I'll be dropping it during the live chat. Ed says, I'm fine with wanting to blitz more, which I agree with, but blitzing 85% of the time like Thurman is crazy and not a winning formula. So is it only a winning formula because Dennis Thurman was able to get to the because of the personnel that he had, he was able to get to the quarterback, and then if he wasn't, then Aubrey Miller was up there stuffing him like a turkey? News might be on reserve. Oh, okay. That's fine. Let's talk about some folks that we need to see some more out of. I didn't see, or I want to see more out of Philip Webb and Julius Reynolds and Athen Smith as edge rush and Antonio Doyle. Out of all the edge rushers, I want to see more. If I don't, then I feel like personnel plays a part, plus Travis can shut down one side of the field when he was out there. Oh, you guys are talking about the Oregon game? Did they score any more points on them yet? I think I want it to be like 40-0 at the half. Oregon scored again? Good Lord. So now, for everybody who was talking SHI, you know the rest about Jackson State, what was the score for Jackson State versus Texas State? Can somebody please type it in the chat? Jackson State versus Texas State. It wasn't 35-0, that's for sure. It says it was this winning formula because a lot of SWAC quarterbacks can't read defenses and offensive coordinators won't adjust. So we still have those same quarterbacks in the SWAC. They don't know how to read defenses, and their offensive coordinators won't adjust. So that's why I feel like that particular formula works. We don't have linebackers to blitz like that. I don't know. I feel like Philip Webb is kind of like a hybrid, and he needs to live up to his name. Doyle off the edge, Smith, Reynolds. We need for these boys to live up to their name, and we need to see some dominance. The defense, I want them to click on all cylinders. It's going to be especially important today. Last but not least, we need to talk about special teams because it was a big thing today that we have to talk about with special teams, especially with the way that our special teams is playing at Texas State. Now, I did learn that Gerardo Baeza was hurt, and Matt Knoll, he doesn't normally punt, or no, he doesn't normally do field goals, I guess. He hasn't done it for a long time. So, you know, that could possibly have contributed to it, because if you're a punter, then that's what you are. And then somebody tells you all of a sudden to switch, even though it's in the same family, that's not what you do. So I understand that. You know, us losing Luke Jackson due to some eligibility issues, it really has put a strain on our special teams roster, and we need to get that rectified. That's something that you have to get rectified. And, you know, that's one thing that we struggled with the first year when Prime was there. So it's probably something that, once again, is going to have to be addressed in the off season for Jackson State is the special teams. But at this point, we missing extra points. So if we're missing extra points, that's a killer right there. You can't miss an extra point and still be able to win games, missing just the small things. Those are things that, when it's down to the wire and you're looking to see whether or not you're going to be able to win or not, there's a chance you won't be able to. Um, on our roster, we only had 2 kickers. And so the freshman kicker from Colorado, he never showed up. So he's not on the team. He said the majority of the kickers are shaky. No, that doesn't make us feel better, Ed, because if it's 4th and 3 and, you're going to have to do for every 4th down, you're going to have to go for it. Sooner or later, they're going to know, okay, you're going for that 4th down. Last but not least, I don't think the news is going to drop. So that means that we'll have to wait till my next live stream. And I'm hoping Emmett says, it seems like my prediction of Colorado winning 3 out of 4 games might come to fruition. Colorado got USC and Caleb Williams next. Pac-12 is rough. Well, their defense is good and their defense is bad. Thank you, HBCU Band Talk, for coming and becoming a member. I really appreciate you for supporting the channel. And HBCU Band Talk is repping for those Wildcats. So let's go ahead and look at the Wildcats roster real quick. I do know this on Bethune Cookman side, they done lost a couple of key pieces to their team. And because they lost those key pieces, like their quarterback, and I haven't heard about him recovering, I'm not sure how good they're going to be offensively. So that could work in our favor, or because they don't have that quarterback, that means that they could be working on the run game, which I'm pretty sure Jackson State is probably last in run defense at this point. Like, our defense for running is absolutely abysmal. So because it's so bad, they might try to run the ball. So let's go ahead and take a look at the quarterbacks. We have 8 quarterbacks. I don't even know if you have 8 quarterbacks. Does that mean that you don't have 3 or 4 good quarterbacks, or he just went and got? Now, I will say this about Coach Raymond Woody. He was one of the top recruiters at the FBS level. I'm going to actually he I want to say he got a award for that. He was it says Woody has been recognized as one of the premier recruiters in college football, serving as an assistant under head coach Willie Taggart across multiple coaching stops. He has recruited 7 players that were eventually selected in the NFL draft. And that was in the American Conference in 2014 and 2015. So make no mistake, Coach Raymond Woody is an excellent recruiter. Now, whether or not, he had a late start and there was a lot of stuff going on, it's expensive to travel, probably why the boom didn't come last year. You will see today. Oh, I guess the band didn't come. Ooh, Lord. Well, it looked like we got a little band talk in the chat. Hell, Wildcats, let's go. Do, 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 do. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. Y'all over here beefing about the band. HBCU band talk is beefing about the band. He said that they have 14 tubas, not 10. Well, there's that. He told us, don't be talking about his team. So y'all leave him alone now. He said that the Wild. Oh, I got a joke for y'all. I hope it's funny. Some of y'all been real kind of. It just depends on which way you want to go. But of course, we all know that Bethune Cookman, their saying, of course, is "Hail Wildcats." And I happened to stumble across an old post, and I thought it was funny. Let me pull it up. Y'all don't be getting mad at me for being petty, because the Wildcats came at me earlier this week. They was being petty, calling us Pothole State University. So I feel like they kind of deserved the little dig here. And so this is an old post from Hail Wildcats. We have 2 words for you. Hail Wildcats. And my response was, that man was hell Wildcats. Oh no, HBCU band talk said don't do it. I thought it was funny. No, not funny. Okay. Moving along, HBCU band talk said don't be petty. But anyway, let's look at this roster right here, and let's look at what Bethune Cookman has done so far. Listen, that game against that FCS team, it was a little too close for my liking. And then of course they played Miami. So they're 1-2 overall. They played Savannah State, where they scored 31 points against Savannah State. Savannah State only scored 6. They played against Memphis. They scored 14 points in that game. So that's the thing. You're not able, when you play these types of teams, you're not able to get a full grasp of either how bad or how good their quarterback is, because if it's against an D2 school, of course they're supposed to be good. Then if it's an FBS school, it's kind of like, I don't know. So Luke Sprague played in the Memphis game. It looks like they scored 14 points. Not much there to kind of critique as far as how good or well they did because they're playing against Memphis. Like, that's not a good determination of how good they are. Then they went and they played against the Savannah State Tigers. And Luke Sprague did exceptionally well in that game. But then, of course, it was a D2 school. Luke Sprague was 23 of 29 for 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Valensley Basil, 6 carries for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tink Boyd was 2 receptions for 68 yards. So right now, I'll say that Jackson State is actually the first FCS to FCS game that we have. So you can't really compare the two. Can't really compare the two. Uh-oh, Texas Southern with a comeback, third quarter. You can't really. So Luke Sprague, I mean, they said that he's legit, but they also said that he is possibly injured. So he is a redshirt junior from Springfield, Pennsylvania. He was at Cardinal O'Hara High School, and he transferred out of Nassau Community College. 6'5", 221 pounds. So that's the quarterback that was playing in that Savannah State game. And then I want to say the Miami game, he got injured. Of course, they only scored 7 there. And Walter Simmons was a quarterback as well. Walter Simmons is a 6'2", 195-pound quarterback. He's from Orange Park, Florida, Oakleaf High School, and he transferred out from East Carolina. So I guess, right now it's up in the air on who their quarterback will be. But of course, we're not able to ascertain how good of an offense they have because they haven't actually played against look up QB Ponder. They haven't actually played against FCS talent. So that means Jackson State need to have a head on the swivel. For real. We don't know what we're running into at this point. So then HBCU Band Talk, he's over here snitching. I'm going to make sure that I hit the coach's inbox real quick so that they can go do some film on Dominique Ponder. He's a freshman. Naples, Florida, from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina Collegiate Academy. 6'5", 195 pounds. So he could possibly be the starting quarterback today. HBU Band Talk said we're very strategic on how we played so far this year. Very vanilla in the play calling, saving the goodness for SWAC play. And so that's why I would say, outside of the fact that they did have those injuries, we don't really know what we're going into. With Jackson State, we showed how dominant we could be against a team like South Carolina State, how bad we can play against a team that knows our scheme and is able to exploit some of our areas. It took us 4 weeks to go ahead and take Cameron off the left tackle side and put freshman Quay there. So we put Quay Davis at the left tackle, and he did pretty well against Texas State. So I'm imagining if you can play Texas State and your offensive line can hold up against them and they beat Baylor, you should be able to convert at Jackson State at a home game pretty well. So everything's going to hinge on our special teams and our defense. Getting ready to get off of here. I just wanted to do that pregame show really quickly. Thank you all for tuning in to the pregame show. Dang, Gremlins 21, Texas Southern 10. It looks like Gremlin's gonna take that one away at home. So that's a good home win for them. Anybody got the Colorado versus Oregon score? Oh, it's halftime. I hope they score 35 more on them. That's probably mean. But if they score 35 more on them than that, or if they score 77 points on them and Colorado's not able to score a point, then all of those DDRs that were making fun of Jackson State last week, oh, I'm about to be in your mentions. You had all these folks talking mess about Jackson State's, and we got 77 scored on us, but at least we pinched them. We knocked them in the mouth a couple times. If we score 34 points and you supposed to be the number 19 team in the country and y'all are all in the same conference, let me see if I can find one more small thing. Let me see. Lord, y'all got to help me. I am petty. But I've been going through a lot of mess with these DDRs, you know? So they deserve everything that they got coming to them. And no, I do not wish for any injuries. I don't want them to lose any players, but I do want them to run the score up on them. I do. I absolutely do. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least guess what happened when Jackson State was losing, or just any team, when any team is losing in the HBCU realm, what do we look forward to? Oh, we're here to see the band. They ain't even got that. At least we had a band. Like, okay, they're losing, but it's halftime, you know, we're going to at least get the band through there, and the band is going to convert. Like, we know if we don't win the game, we're going to win that. So, do y'all still believe? Okay, I'm going to stop. Gremlins ground game exploded on the last touchdown. And make sure everybody's tuning into these HBCU games, whether it's on HBCU Go or ESPN Plus. We went blow for blow with Texas State for a quarter and a half. Absolutely. And I think some of the play calling might have taken a little bit of oomph out of our Jackson State team. Yep. Yeah, and that's exactly why. They were quick to mention those 77 points on our last live. So I need for Oregon to score 77 points, and then I need Colorado to not score a touchdown. At what point I think you actually need to go ahead and sit Shedeur down and just call it a wash and just save him for next week. There's no reason to put in your number one quarterback for the rest of the game because there's still a lot of play left. So, you know, at this point, because they're trying to prove a point. Trying to prove a point here. And everybody, just so you guys know, HBCU Go is a platform. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat. But HBCU Go, it is a platform that you can download and you can watch all of these games free of charge. The Grambling versus Texas Southern game is still going on. It's in the third quarter. I'm going to drop that. Drop that down there for you. Just in case you want to check that out. And I will see you guys back here at 6:45. I'll see y'all here. Y'all enjoy the game today. Make sure if you are at Jackson State and you have some pictures or some film that you would like to share, please make sure to hit me in my inbox and send it to me. I just wanted to also share this picture of Coach W.C. Gorden, and as you can see, he has the blue helmet with the red face mask with the red block. So basically, when you see the uniforms today, that's basically what the uniforms are giving credence to and acknowledging is Coach W.C. Gorden and his storied football program, one of the winningest coaches in HBCU football and, of course, in Jackson State history. And Mario, I'm going to have to actually watch the new response. I kind of listened to it a little bit, but, they haven't been this vocal about the racism that takes place in Mississippi. So I don't know how to feel about it or the reason why you see some disparities. So I don't know if it's just word salad just to get on the scene or what. And I also want to share these. So let me also share this. This is the helmet, basically. After I just showed you Coach W.C. Gorden holding that helmet. So it's an homage to him. And then we have, of course, the red block tonight, this afternoon. It's going to be a night game. So should be special. Definitely special. Haven't had one of those in a while. And on one end, it says W.C. Gorden Classic. And then on the other end, of course, it says Jackson State in blue. So we will see you guys back here at 6:45. And the I love. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Bye.